Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much again for joining me here. I hope you're having a phenomenal day. We're taking a look here at Bitcoin, getting some perspective on the market overview, Fear and Greed Index, Altcoin Index, which is super high right now, by the way. But more importantly, starting with just some quick fundamentals. This really spiked the market last night. Basically, after I left the office, of course, as per usual, the price goes straight up because 401k plans are able, or Trump seeks to essentially allow crypto into 401k plans. And of course, the Genius Act was passed as well. A lot of crazy good stuff for crypto happened last night. I just feel like we're really close to a tentative top, and we're going to maybe see somewhat of a sell-off here. Possibly today or this weekend. We're already seeing some strong red candles here so far. It's very early to tell, but the things we want to look at are going to be kind of more indicative, more long-term movements, just so you can kind of understand that we're not going to be looking at like where we're going to be in 1 hour from now, because that makes very little sense considering where the market is right now. So let's talk about the important things here first, starting with the market overview for Bitcoin before we jump into liquidation. First things first, altcoin season index is substantially large, right? So once more, shorting altcoins right now or meme coins, maybe not the best consideration, but overall, there's also a lot of them that are looking like they're primed and ready with ascending broadening wedge pattern breakdowns. In fact, Pengu and a few others I'm looking at are having those kind of structures as well. So once more, it really just depends on your risk tolerance and what kind of trades you're looking for. But overall, the trend is up. There's no other way around it, right? So altcoins, meme coins, majority of them are doing very well. Bitcoin continues to drop even though it's super high on its returns for the year. So overall, you're better off, taking longs versus shorts, but I would urge caution taking a lot of longs into the weekend, just based on the simple fact that generally weekends are not super favorable for trading in general. However, I do want to describe this. 4 out of the last 6 weekends have been green and substantially beneficial in the overall sense. So please understand, weekends have kind of changed things here lately. Anyways, speaking of change, look at this here, net in ETF inflow for both Bitcoin and Ethereum. Looks like Ethereum actually had more inflow than Bitcoin. That is phenomenal. Basically, this is just implying that we have a lot of money flowing into ETFs, and as that continues to increase, the more sustainability we have in the current price range, right? So at this point here, this week is actually better than last week so far, and it hasn't even closed yet. So that's a pretty good sign, okay? So this really shows a lot of strength here, and that we got a lot of defense in the areas of open interest. Let's just jump right into open interest too, because before, at least I'm just going to double check this here. We can actually take a look at the monthly just to clarify, but the monthly was 118,000 was like that heavy concentration. So let's kind of see where we're at right now. So we still got 118 there, but there's a lot of open interest, of course, at 110 to 111. That's from previous timeframes. But as we can see, 118 is that heavily guarded zone. As soon as the price enters 118, we see a lot of buying pressure. So just note 118 is still a pretty rock solid support. We close below that. That may be an early sign that we're going to continue down to fill the fair value gap. Taking a quick look here, we can see liquidation short delta is higher now than the longs, basically. So we're starting to see more shorts piling up here, which does make a lot of sense considering just how overextended things are. And that, like the fact of the matter is we got this, we're starting to see the realism here now with all these crypto things coming through. And just a simple fact that, it's one of those, I'm speculating we're going to see a buy or the rumor, sell the news kind of situation where everyone's kind of throwing money into the crypto market right now, and that we might actually start to see some selling pressure relatively soon based on that sentiment, right? Once more, that it's like that calm before the storm, or right now we're kind of in the middle of it and everybody's just shut up and take my money right now. And I think that will come to a head at some point. But based on liquidation, we see once more 116 to 114 is that heavy concentration here locally. We lose 117, that'll probably be the next stop for us. Other than that, not too much on the macro really. Just kind of slowly filling into these areas. There's not a lot to extract there. We do have a bullish pennant pattern here, which is funny because there's a lot of conflicting signs that we're seeing with patterns and also divergences. So let's talk about that just so you can kind of see where we're at here and clarify when we look at this current price action here, we want to look at the daily time frame and kind of identify that, hey, we are starting to see this stochastic swing push down. We lost 70 in the RSI. These aren't necessarily bearish signs. These are signs that are kind of letting us know that we're cooling off, which is a good sign. Ultimately, we want the price to go sideways for a few more days. If we can stay in this range for a few more days, then I think the probability of the price action going higher is greater. because our indicators are cooling off and the price action is staying the same. That's what we're looking for. But on the daily time frame, the key takeaway here is that money flow index is over the RSI. That shows sustainability and more likelihood of maintaining this price range. But again, there's a lot of different ways you can kind of look at it. If you do take a look at the 4-hour time frame, we're starting to see some divergences. We're in the process of losing 50 in the RSI right now. And at this point, we can see a shift in stochastic swinging down. We lost our RSI, our SMA on the RSI. And then of course we got our stochastic swing to the downside with MACD and both stochastic. So those are usually short-term corrective type of patterns. Now, how does that affect altcoins or meme coins? Well, at this point, they don't seem to care too much. They've pulled back a little bit here so far today, but if we have to lose 118 to see any substantial moves from altcoins. So at this point, once again, better off kind of just hanging out on the sidelines, not taking any type of trades like that for the moment, and just kind of seeing what happens here next. But the 4-hour time frame ultimately is kind of giving us the early signs that we're seeing that shift here. But it's a very difficult trading condition. So just make sure that you are cautious, careful, adjusting your stop loss higher as you seek profit. And obviously just making sure that you're not over leveraging. Use lower leverage for certain trades if you can, just to make sure you're not getting too out of hand, right? It's important to maintain good risk tolerance in these situations. So either way, I hope you learned something today. Thanks again so much for being an amazing part of my life. Forgot to mention too, quick congrats to our community here for some nice profits on our Dogecoin, 70% long there. While we missed quite a few opportunities because the market kept running, it's just one of those things where you kind of gotta get in when you can, because ultimately waiting for phenomenal entries right now just isn't the case. You kind of got to get in and just almost chase, but make sure you watch closely and ensure you're not overdoing it either. Okay. Either way, thanks again so much. We'll look forward to seeing the next one. Have yourself a great rest of the day. We'll see you again soon. Take care.